guys, Kimberly Miller here with Hug Longer Digital Designs, A.K.A. the Embrilliance Nerd. And on our last episode of digitizing this fill design, we had completed just the wings and the face of our little ladybug. I went ahead and completed her. I used the same concepts as we were talking about. I drew her body with points. You can see each node I laid here. And then I adjusted them just like we adjusted for the wings. I then went over and I did the dots on our wings. I could have created holes, but this is a very small area, 1 1/4 by 1 7/16. So this is a very tiny area, and creating a hole within this wing to add the dot would really complicate the embroidery. So I placed these dots right on top of her wings. Now they're a very dark color, so nothing is going to show through. Then I created her face. And when I came to making these circles right here, instead of creating my own circles, I went into our library, right up to the top, the one that looks like a gear. I went down to Shapes 1, and I grabbed the circle out. I clicked OK, and there I had a circle. I just adjusted it to the size I wanted for the eyeball, which is slightly larger than what they had suggested on the drawing, because I did not want her eyeball to get lost in her face. I then just hit the fill key. This is going to be neon red. We don't really want that, but I'm just going to show you. And it creates the perfect little circle without you having to do it. Let's get rid of that little circle. I created the smile by 3 dots with the draw with points. I grabbed my tool, 1 in the beginning, 1 in the middle, 1 in the end. I clicked return, then I went up to the stitch button and I applied the satin border. I adjusted my width to 1 because I wanted her to have a nice little smile, and there we have the cute little smile. We don't need 2 smiles, so we'll get rid of that. I did a copy and a paste with a Control or Command V and a Control or Command C and a Control or Command V, and I made a second eye. I brought it over to this position. I did create each of these then, of course, with draw with dots. These can be made with the circle here. I made sure the flow was well. So as you can see here, we started with this dot. It starts here, it ends here. These are going to tie off because it's important to keep these tied off. It's not continuing to the next color with a line, or it's not a continual color. There's an actual stop that needs to happen. Then we go here. It's going to jump from there to there. Important to know, it will not clip even if your machine clips, if your machine is programmed not to clip it that close together. That is a machine setting, even if you have the tie-offs. We did this one next. We went over to this one here. It stopped here, started here, stopped here. It's going to start here on this one. Okay, then we're going to flow to the eyeball. Then we're going to flow to the mouth, to the next eyeball. And then we're going to need to reorder these so that this one goes next. Then we're going to want this one next, so let's bring that one up here. Just to make a nice flow. That one can go last. We're going to do, let's make the start a little closer to where the eyeball ends. A nice flow, bring it over here. Let's stop here. We're going to change the start and stop here so that it's a nice flow again. It's going to stop here. It's going to start there. It's going to start here. Then we have this one. Let's take this one next. Since it stops here, go over here. Let's let this one start right here. Nice flow to the next one. Maybe here. Then we'll change the stop. The start right over here. Come on, the little start button. Let me grab you. There we go. And so that's a nice flow. Now how about the feet? I put the feet very, very first. And instead of the color black, I made them forest green. The reason I did that was because sometimes people use color sort trying to make the least amount of colors. And so if I had it black and someone used the color sort button, it would bring it everything either to the front or everything either to the end. If it brought everything to the front, that would mean that the dots here would be underneath the wings, you wouldn't see them. The facial features would be under the face, you wouldn't see them. And if it brought it to the end, the feet would be on top of the body. So this is just a way of me programming things to stay that way. Now I want to take a quick peek at how it stitches out in the simulator so you can see how that flow works. And I think this will be helpful for you knowing how to get a good stitch flow going. This one needs to be in the very back, so it's stitching second after the feet. We want to have the wings on top of the body of our ladybug, so that's stitching over the top. It was quick, but it went from here to here and then kept going, which is nice flow. Now we're going to stitch the face. Great, there we go, the face. That's lovely. Then let's go ahead and get those dots on the wings and the facial features done. And there we have it, a very nice flow, very nice. I did notice that I forgot to do the antennas. Now I probably have to place these in a nice pattern. I might make them before I start the eyes, but for time's sake, let's just go ahead and grab our draw tool, draw with points, and I'm going to click once in the beginning, once in the middle, once in the end. Click return or enter. I'm going to go up to my stitch area, and I'm going to grab the satin border. Click on it. Great. Then it's going to start here and here. And then let's go ahead and draw this one over here. We could copy and paste and move it. This is so easy just to go ahead and go click, click, click. I think it might be easier to create than it is to copy and paste. Go back up, make it a satin. And there we have it. Cute little ladybug. She's just adorable. She had a perfect stitch out in the stitch simulator. But please know this, you will want to test stitch her. Test stitch her, find any error, see if there's a little gap, pull your things over, make a little extra area for compensation of that. You will want to always test stitch your design. Just because it looks perfect in the screen does not mean it's going to stitch perfectly. Especially with fills where things meet up. Certain overlap needs to happen. I'm going to click on this eyeball key so you can see I do some overlap here. This one I'd probably even overlap a little more. There are some overlap because of compensation. That's very important. But this might not be enough overlap. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to test stitch it. And then you might need to move these things up a little bit so that they tuck better underneath. When you stitch, things get pulled. It's really hard to perfectly stabilize anything. So test stitch. Go back into your Embrilliance. Fix those areas that need fixing, and then test stitch again. You may have to make a few tries. It gets easier as you start digitizing more often. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped out a little bit. I went a little faster on the second video because we learned so much in the first. I didn't want to re-say everything. Thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate you taking a peek.